So we're going to talk about the 7 primal movement patterns now. So a well-balanced training program should include each of the 7 primal movement patterns. So basically, these movement patterns were designed by Paul Chek, a chiropractor in the US, and they describe the movements that we do in everyday life. So those 7 are, first off, bend, which is hinge, okay, squat, lunge, push, pull, twist, and gate. So they're the 7, and we're going to break them down individually. The first one is hinge, which is bend. So anytime that you pick anything up off the floor, so if you say you drop your keys and you bend over to pick them up, that's your first one, a bend, a hinge. Just know that when you're doing your bend or your hinge, there's 2 ways of hinging. There's the wrong way of doing it, which is where we're just folding from the top. Okay, if we do that way, we're going to overload the extensors on the way back up. The correct way of hinging is to drive those hips back so you get a stretch on the hammies. Okay, and really load up that posterior chain, and we can get that same angle in the torso by driving the hips back rather than just dropping down forward from the chest. So these hinge exercises that you're going to be doing is, say for example, like a good morning or a remaining deadlift or a standard deadlift. They're all going to be examples of hinges. The next one is squatting. So you're going to be squatting anytime that you sit down or stand back up. It's a squat movement, so that's used in everyday life all of the time, and that could be trained by doing any of the squat movements. Okay, the next one is a lunge. So anytime that you say walking up a hill, climbing stairs or stepping over a log, you're doing a lunge movement pattern, and you've got different lunges that you can do. So you can go forward, backwards, laterally and diagonally as well. And then for upper body, first off we've got pushes. So pushing might be in everyday life. If you're pushing yourself off the floor, you're pushing something away from you. And we've got the horizontal and vertical pushes. So ways that we can train the horizontal push would be, say, doing push-ups or bench press. And if we're going to train the vertical push, so we can do any type of military press. And for a vertical push in everyday life, that could just be, putting something above you on a top shelf. That's going to be considered a vertical press. And then for your upper body pull movements, again, we can break that down into a horizontal pull or a vertical pull. So in everyday life, for a horizontal pull might be just opening a door, and each of your sort of rowing type movements is going to be training that horizontal pull movement. And for vertical pull, in everyday life, you might be using that for, say, climbing a tree or rock climbing or putting your body up over something. That would be a vertical pull. And if we want to train that movement pattern, we could do any type of lat pull down, pull up or chin up. And then for twist, so we're training the twist for rotation. In real life, this is probably one of the most used movement patterns. Anytime we move or twist or rotate, okay, we need to be able to train that trunk to move and rotate throughout that thoracic. So exercises that can train the twist, that might be a Russian twist or some type of wood chop, where we're going from flexion to extension or extension into flexion with rotation. And then the last one is gait, which is walking or locomotion. So again, this is a primal movement pattern where just getting from A to B by walking. That's an often used primal movement pattern as well.